US banks, now exchanging IQD and VND huge payouts, may start today, including the intro for your channel RV News, written entirely in paragraph format. Welcome back to RV News, your trusted source for the latest updates, real-time, alerts, and in-depth analysis on the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, the Vietnamese Dong, VND, and all things related to the global currency revaluation movement. If you're holding IQD or VND, or simply following this monumental financial story, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay locked in, because what we're covering today could be the turning point many of us have been waiting for. The rumors are heating up, the confirmations are beginning to surface, and there are fresh reports that US banks are now actively exchanging IQD and VND, with payouts possibly starting as early as today. Let's break this down. Across the country, chatter is emerging from both public forums and behind-the-scenes contacts that select financial institutions are quietly initiating exchange protocols for the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong. These are not vague speculations anymore. Over the past 48 hours, multiple sources tied to regional banks, wealth managers, and even former insiders have suggested that Tier 1 and Tier 2 banks in the United States have begun limited, customer-specific exchanges. While these transactions may not yet be available to the general public, they mark a serious shift from years of denials and deflections by major banks. The activity appears to be centered in key metropolitan hubs, specifically locations in Texas, Florida, Nevada, Arizona, and parts of California, where banks with foreign currency exchange desks are reportedly training staff on new IQD and VND protocols. Some reports suggest that tellers and private bankers have been given non-disclosure instructions and are working with pre-approved clients, primarily those who have long-standing relationships with the banks or who are part of larger redemption groups. According to inside intel, these initial exchanges are considered test runs to verify systems, rates, and liquidity procedures before a broader rollout. While no major bank has made an official public announcement confirming this, multiple sources familiar with foreign currency operations at Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, and Fifth Third Bank have confirmed something big is underway. One particularly intriguing report involves a client in Houston, Texas, who was allegedly contacted by their private banker about the opportunity to exchange both IQD and VND under new internal guidelines. This individual claimed that while they were asked to sign an NDA, they were allowed to confirm that a transaction took place and that it involved an above-market rate, significantly higher than what is publicly posted on Forex or at Travelex-style retail currency exchanges. Although the exact rate could not be disclosed, the person stated it was enough to make it life-changing. This matches with previous expectations in the RV community that the revaluation would produce tiered rates, including contract rates and market rates, with higher amounts possible for those exchanging larger quantities or within official redemption structures. In another case, a couple in Phoenix, Arizona, reported visiting a Chase branch where they were unexpectedly told that IQD was now being accepted for exchange, but only through appointment, and only for clients with accounts older than 90 days. When they pressed for more details, the banker stated that the internal memo they had received indicated a change in IQD classification status, effectively greenlighting its movement through the bank's foreign currency trading channels. This is notable because for years, major US banks claimed IQD was not recognized for exchange due to Iraq's currency being classified as a closed economy. A shift in that classification is exactly the kind of bureaucratic change that would precede a full revaluation rollout. So what's behind this sudden shift in momentum? According to sources tracking IMF activities and global financial regulatory bodies, there has been increased movement on international currency reform, agreements particularly tied to the implementation of Basel IV banking compliance. This new standard requires banks to hold real asset-backed capital, and many believe the revaluation of currencies like the IQD and VND is part of a broader realignment to balance trade and debt among nations. Iraq, in particular, has made significant economic strides over the past year, stabilizing its oil exports, increasing gold reserves, and implementing new digital payment systems. All of these are prerequisites for a currency to move from a program rate to a true international value. Meanwhile, Vietnam has continued to maintain a stable economy with growing trade partnerships across Asia, including strong economic ties with the US. This economic foundation makes the Vietnamese Dong another strong candidate for revaluation, especially as ASEAN nations push for greater financial sovereignty and away from dependence on the US dollar. It's no coincidence that both the IQD and VND have been heavily purchased by investors, banks, and government-level entities as part of asset diversification strategies in anticipation of a reset in global currency values. The whispers of exchange center activation are also increasing. Reports from individuals linked to military and intelligence communities suggest that redemption centers, off-site, highly secure locations separate from bank branches, are now fully staffed and prepared for a full rollout. These centers, which are expected to offer higher contract rates and full confidentiality, are said to be working off a schedule coordinated with the US Treasury and other global financial institutions. One intel drop even indicated that certain clients have already received appointments for today or tomorrow, under the guise of wealth restructuring or private currency conversion meetings. In addition to these early signs, a number of large banking systems have updated their internal software to include new rate entry fields for exotic currencies, including the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong. Screenshots shared from internal bank systems, though unverified, show rate placeholders for the IQD in the $3.00, $4 range and the VND between 0.45, 0.65. These values match long speculated numbers within the RV community and suggest that the infrastructure is in place for rapid deployment once the green light is officially given. And here's something even more interesting. Some wire transfer services and fintech platforms have suddenly restricted IQD-related transactions. This could be because banks and governments want to prevent last-minute currency hoarding before a formal rate change is announced. If this is true, we may be in the final moments before a public revaluation announcement. The restriction of access to these currencies has historically been one of the last steps before prior currency resets, including historical gold resets and Bretton Woods adjustments. Now, many of you have reached out to RV News asking, should I rush to the bank today? The honest answer is, proceed with caution and preparation. If you have a trusted banking relationship, now is the time to reach out discreetly. Ask whether the bank has resumed exchanges of IQD or VND, and if they offer appointments with foreign currency managers or wealth advisors. Be professional, calm, and patient. Many of these rollouts are being conducted quietly to prevent a panic rush. Remember, early access may be granted based on customer relationship profiles, investment tier, or long-term account standing. Also, have your documents in order. This includes your government-issued ID, proof of funds, if asked how you acquired your currency, and any receipts from where you purchased your IQD or VND. While not every bank requires receipts, some might, especially during the early verification stages. It's also a good idea to discuss account security, tax planning, and potential wealth advisory services before you finalize an exchange. The moment this revaluation hits full throttle, it will trigger the largest wealth transfer in modern history. Be ready to act like a professional, not a panicked trader. We're also hearing that more email notifications and text alerts are going out to individuals signed up through historic group systems and 800-number platforms. These notifications include links to secure websites where people can register for appointments at redemption centers. While we cannot confirm the authenticity of all these alerts, some have been verified by multiple individuals across states, like Florida, Georgia, and Ohio. If you're part of a trusted group, monitor your inbox closely over the next 24-48 hours. All signs point to a critical window that is now opening. The IQD and VND revaluation may not be announced in the traditional sense, but rather phased in quietly through bank-level implementation, private exchanges, and insider appointments. Once a few thousand exchanges are processed, the floodgates will open and the public will be invited to participate, most likely through a tiered rate system with incentives for structured payouts and asset-backed reinvestments. To be clear, this is not financial advice, and we always encourage you to do your own due diligence. The RV process is highly complex and tied into geopolitical, financial, and security considerations. However, when so many signs begin to align, bank memos, exchange desk confirmations, new rate indicators, increased security at branches, and direct reports from those exchanging, it's safe to say that something monumental is underway. Here at RV News, we will continue to monitor every development as it unfolds. If you have been contacted by your bank,